Good evening. I am the last of 3 speakers this evening. This means you are that close to pie. Yeah. Lutherans have a deeply embedded belief that dessert should follow every worship experience, especially if coffee is included, and particularly if it is Thanksgiving. Rabbi Frank has reminded us tonight of the gift of community that we share, and Joe has called us to remember justice. And I would close now by calling us again to gratitude for all of the blessings that are ours this night. And that is not a difficult thing on this Thanksgiving, for there is not one of us who has not come to this place already counting the blessings that are ours. We have been given and entrusted with much, and we are thankful. But I would suggest that there is more to blessing than this, that gratitude runs deeper than our current list of good fortune. I would share with you a story of gratitude, and that story belongs to Dot Anderson. Dot is a gentle woman of deep strength. Her hair is white, and she always pulls it back in a bun. And her eyes, unassisted by glasses, sparkle with the wisdom of the years. Dot celebrated her 100th birthday in our midst this last spring, and until very recently, she has come to our church every single Friday morning. She gets there before I do, for this purpose. Dot folds all 300 of the bulletins for our worship service on Sunday morning by hand every week. I'll tell her you said so. And when I suggested to her that most people her age have considered retirement, she said, as long as I have opportunity to give, I am blessed. In one of my very early conversations with her, I asked Dot where she was raised, and I expected her to say Minnesota, because that is the state that breeds Lutherans. But Dot told me no. She said that her home was in Orange, that her father was an orange rancher, and in those days, her nearest neighbor was 5 miles away, and between those homes and all the rest, there were nothing but acres and acres of orange trees. Her father actually is partially responsible for Orange County being named Orange County. That is, of course, another story. If you're interested, you can see me afterwards over pie, and we will discuss it. And as she spoke to me of being a native of Southern California, Dot said, I live in the most beautiful place on earth, and I am so grateful every day. 100 years of gratitude. What would such a thing mean? On good days and on bad, in joy and in sorrow, gratitude is not a measure of our happiness. It is a measure of God's grace and mercy. Dot's words struck me that day. I was at that time very new to Southern California, and I was afraid that one day I would wake up and my gratitude for this geography would wear off. Although having lived in Minnesota, I thought I probably had a few good years before that happened. And Dot's gentle witness reminded me that gratitude is not something that wears off. It is rather something that deepens with age and becomes more precious with life's experiences. Like the wrinkles on a grandmother's face, gratitude is earned and rich and blessed. Have you ever sat with someone who has just lost a loved one and heard them say to you, I am so blessed? We were so blessed to have him this one last year. I've heard it so many times that I have come to know the depth of its truth. Blessing is not a gift in the good times. It is the capacity to know joy in the difficult times. Blessing is to be undergirded with the sure and certain knowledge that our lives are held in the hands of God. Blessing is the rich and deep and textured life into which our faith is woven, and it is a great gift. A text from my tradition contains these words: Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the peacemakers. Words like these pause us when we consider what it means to be blessed this night. Is there blessing in grief as well as in joy? Is there blessing in poverty as well as in abundance? Is there blessing when we seek the difficult way of peace? The answer is yes, but there is still more. The greatest blessing comes when we join hands with those who are hungry and hurting, and when we empty ourselves for their sake. In the context of faith, blessing does not mean the things in our lives. It does not even mean the families that we cherish. Blessing means the gift that is ours to bless others, as we have heard this night again and again. Gratitude means the capacity to live grateful lives and to reach out our hands in mercy and hope. One more story. It's actually a story that Lauren Paz shared with me. Last year, about this time, a group of our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders were leaving the church one morning on their way with their Sunday school teacher to the fairgrounds. They were going to help Lauren and the Community Resource Center prepare for the Holiday Baskets project. For several weeks, they had been making ornaments, and they were to put those on a tree near the door so that when guests came, they could feel that welcome. And when the ornaments had been hung, the painted animals that they had brought, the giraffes and the zebras and the hippos, the kids were then taken on a tour of the facility. And they were shown piles of clothes and stacks of food. And these children were told about children just like them, who did not have enough food or warm clothes or even a toy in that Christmas season. And one of the boys in the group, whose name is Carl, didn't speak at all in the midst of the tour. And he hung, as he often does, at the perimeter of the group. And as the tour ended, the children moved away with their teacher, but Carl hung back. And he walked up to the tour guide when he was sure that no one else was looking. And from his closed fist, he laid in her hand all the money that he had. And he said, "I hope this is enough for the children to have what they need." And without a word, he turned and walked back to his class, leaving behind him the tour guide and Lauren and anyone else who was in earshot with tears in their eyes for the gift of a little boy's hand and heart. Let me name our blessing tonight. We are here, hand in hand, together with Carl, and we share one heart. Our blessings are never measured in how much we have been given, but in our capacity to give ourselves away for the sake of others. We come tonight with different faith traditions, and we raise different voices in a common song. It is in our diversity that we are strengthened. It is in our capacity to lift up for one another the rich tapestry of the heart of God that we are blessed. It is in our relationships that we find our resolve together to be people of faith, to be people who share a common desire. May you be blessed this night, in joy and in sorrow, in plenty and in want, and may your hands be blessed as you open them to others. And may your heart be full this night of all of the promises of God. Amen.